Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Are they all here?
All but one.
Well, I'm going anyway.
I'm the best at what I do.
You're listening to the Think Tank Podcast.
Look at that fucking smile on my face.
With your host, Tank Sinatra.
All right, Ashley Hesseltine. Welcome
What's
to the
up?
Think Tank.
Thanks.
You're in the Think Tank right now.
The AC is on.
Do you feel your thoughts going haywire?
I feel good.
You feel calm?
I feel physically comfortable, which
Even
is good.
Beneath the surface?
Yeah, I'm pretty stable.
How's
Tank,
the
I'm
current?
sorry. Should I call you Tank or?
You can call me Tank.
Okay, cool.
Everyone calls me Tank now.
That's what I thought.
It is what it is. It wasn't intentional. It just became,
Yeah.
I'm huge, obviously. So
Right.
It was
Your actual Tank.
It was a long time coming. I'm surprised it took me so long, but the nickname thing it is what it is. It's like my name is Tank now. It's not even a nickname. Now it's like George is like my side name.
But those names are wildly different.
George and Tank? Yeah. Tank is cool as shit.
George. I've never even fucked a George. I don't know what. I mean, I can't picture a George.
Is that the bar?
I don't know. I'm like, it's this. Who knows a George?
I
do
know
now, but
some
you're
Georges.
not a George.
No, I'm not. I'm and I've never been a George.
Don't you feel like they're low key, like
Greek
can fuck?
people? Super Greek. Everybody named George is Greek. Yeah.
Okay.
Except for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, but you saying Georges can fuck?
I feel like low key they could.
I high key
That's a
can.
strong man name.
Well,
I'm
do you know what
big
George
on man
means?
names, huh?
Do you know what George means? Strong farmer.
See,
Could be strong fucker.
just proved my point. Farmers, they can get it in.
Yeah, they can. Farmers only.
My dad's a farmer. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Is he? Okay, good. My dad's name is George. I don't want to talk about this either. My name is George. My son's name is George. Oh, God. Oh, God. So, before we get started, because I was telling you before, my sad little podcast is, I'm so jealous of you. I have so many questions, which you may not want to answer because I'm trying to keep your fucking audience intact and get them all, which is not going to happen because your audience is probably in love with you and they don't know who I am. So,
Well, they're meme heavy.
are they?
Like, oh God, yeah. I mean, they're millennial women for the most part.
Yeah.
So, and what is the younger one? Gen Z. Like,
Is it Gen Z?
we have a young audience. Like I think we have a wide range, but
They might not even know what audience you're talking about yet.
oh, sorry. Continue,
So,
George, please.
so I'm so unprepared. Review time, because reviews on iTunes. I don't know if when you first started.
Oh my
out,
God, you're not going to read our reviews, are you?
No, mine.
Oh God, thank
one,
God.
just one. Because it makes me feel. So the name of this is, unfortunately, I feel like people like hearing their name on the podcast, so they write a review and then they hear their name, they hear the review, they go, "Oh,
Yeah.
cool." But this guy's or girl's name is Jiff D Blue.
There it is.
It's JHFFDFFYYVBIU. They definitely just typed in a bunch of letters, but it says, Tank's Good News founder, a must-follow on Instagram, delivers again with this pod, entertaining and honest conversation with interesting guests. That's you.
All right.
Humble comedy and good stories. Solid listen. Listen to the podcast, write a review. If you're listening to the podcast right now, if you like this episode, which I guarantee you're going to because the person I'm about to get into it with is... anyway, leave a review. Let me know what you think. But Ashley Hasseltine, founder of Bros Being Basic, one half of Girls Gotta Eat podcast,
Yeah.
crushing it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Be honest.
It's funny.
Is your life beyond any of your wildest dreams that you thought it was going to be?
I like this question. So I think you sound like an asshole if you're like, I anticipated this, right?
Yeah, it's
but
true.
I
Nobody
did
does.
dream this though. Like
Yeah.
this was the plan. It really was the plan all along. So it's every day I feel so grateful and happy and kind of can't believe this is my life. But I did want this. Like
Yes.
this was actually what I pictured. Like when we started the podcast, I was like, I had this background in comedy. I wanted to perform, but not necessarily, I just didn't picture myself as like this famous stand-up comedian ever. But I was like, I picture myself as performing, helping women, empowering women, talking about dating. It was like all of it rolled into one, and it is happening. It's great.
It's happening now.
It's a dream.
The reason I asked that is because you started the account Bros Being Basic. Did it start there, or there was probably stuff before that, right?
My background long story short is I am a writer. I started doing stand-up about 6 years ago. I've always dabbled in TV, radio, entertainment, things like that. I've worked for like event planning. I've done some PR. I've kind of been all over the place. This was back when I lived in Atlanta. And I had a blog that was pretty popular. And this was in 2014, kind of when Basic started. You remember? I mean, when did you start your account?
Bros Being Basic?
When did you start your account?
2015.
Okay. So Basic really did start, that word became a thing with like the BuzzFeed and the Elite Daily articles, and they kind of ran the internet, and Basic was this thing. And I started noticing Instagram a lot more. Instagram was not so huge. There weren't a lot of meme accounts or humor accounts. There was like Fuck Jerry and Fat Jewish. And I wrote a blog titled What If Guys Acted Like Girls on Instagram. I had all my guy friends create these photos. It took like a month. It was a ton of work. I was like running around taking photos, giving guys creative direction, having them create them for me. I almost gave up on it. I was like, this is just a lot of work. And I was like, but I had this feeling that this blog could take off, and it did. And the blog blew up, and all these other outlets covered the blog, and I started the account immediately after that, like with that theme, obviously, and titled it Bros Being Basic. And I don't think that would happen today. It's a different time. That was 5 years ago.
Bros Being Basic.
Just Instagram blowing up in general. Like the media outlets aren't the same. BuzzFeed doesn't have the same pull that it used to, and it's just too much out there.
Yeah.
Like you've risen above. I mean, yours is awesome. Like you do stuff that's so unique, but people are tired of the same shit.
Yeah, but that's why I'm interested in your arc, because I feel like the Fat Jew, right? For instance, I feel like however anybody feels about him, he was destined to be famous and rich and high profile.
Right.
Because even like in the early 2000s, he was rapping and
doing
doing wild shit, making videos and whatever. So I had blogs in the early 2000s, which is why anybody who starts off with a blog, I'm like, you were gonna be something anyway. Because if you started a blog and then another blog and then that blog didn't work out, you did another one and then you did a video blog and then an Instagram account.
Yeah.
Like you were clamoring for some kind of, I'm going to say attention, even though attention is kind of like pejorative. It's not, I don't mean it derogatory. Like I wanted attention. I wanted people to listen to what I was saying because I felt like I had a unique take. Okay, so you agree.
I get it.
Okay, so you wanted attention.
You're on the right path of like, you know what's happening next. Like if you start a blog today, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Kourtney Kardashian. But like, it was like blog. Okay, blogs are over. We know.
Yeah.
Instagram. Oh, Instagram's over. Podcasts. Like those type of people that think like that.
That's very true.
Yeah. And they're not over. Instagram's not over, but I always think of like what is next, because this is not going to last forever.
Yeah.
You know those times. I mean, there was moments when I was just making so much money off A, blogging, B, Bros Being Basic, and then it starts to dwindle. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
What do we do next?
What were you doing? Sponsored posts on Bros Being Basic?
Yeah, I still work with brands, but there was years that have been better now over the past 5 years. And now admittedly, I don't put as much time into it.
Sure.
But
it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, you can make a lot of money.
People do, and it's a job.
Yeah.
People don't realize. I had a talk. You know who Taylor Lorenz is? She's a reporter. She writes about internet stuff almost exclusively. Or not almost exclusively.
Yeah, I know that. Lorenzis, is that the name?
No, Lorenz.
I don't know.
She worked for The Atlantic.
Okay.
And now she works for the New York Times.
Okay.
But her and I were sitting here talking because all she does is deal with meme accounts, basically. For her articles, she gets comments from meme accounts about whatever, monetization or different trends and whatever. And we were talking about how much work it actually is. And I posted that clip on my Instagram, and people were furious that I would dare say that running an Instagram account is work. And a few people, I was like, well, what do you do for work?
Right.
I work in I'm in finance. So what do you do? Like you make like Excel spreadsheets and shit? You make phone calls? Who the fuck, who are you?
Right.
Like you don't do it all day, every day, 7 days a week for 4 or 5 days, 5 years in a row.
Also, just like work smarter, not harder. Like, I think people just think I created this thing and it blew up. And yeah, it did. But like my whole life was led up to this. I was doing comedy. I was writing.
Yeah.
I had the idea. I conceptualized it. And I run it, and I create the content. I have photo shoots. And then I still have to do all the admin stuff and the invoicing and like all the things having to do with your taxes and your expense. I mean, so it's still a business. But I think people, they're like, when someone gets famous or some meme account blows up, and yes, it can happen out of nowhere, but people are like, that happened overnight. And it's like, not really.
No.
I've been like trying to make this happen for years.
Yeah. Well, that's like the my partner Adam has this this theory about just like any kind of creative endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
Creativity is really hard. It's hard to A, be creative, but B, to execute on the creative, and then C, to make it deliverable to the world, like to
know what people want.
where it's actually good also.
Yeah.
You can't just put shit out and be like, I made this.
Right.
Like it. If people don't like it. You have to spend time on it. So
People are like, I could do that. It's like, well, you haven't.
you haven't, yeah, so maybe you can't. You call it what it is.
Why
yeah.
haven't you?
Because it is hard. Yes. Taking action is. I don't know if you feel this way ever, but I have like almost guilt about how good my life is and what I do for a living. I'm like, I don't deserve this. This should be ripped from me, and I should be driving a cab right now.
But I feel like I'm gonna like psychoanalyze you. I feel like maybe that's why you wanted to start like the good news part of it, because I just feel like every day I wake up, I'm like, my life is so great. It has not always been. I've been broke, you know, I've like not been able to pay my rent, you know, like whatever. I was never living on the streets, but it hasn't always been like this. I don't have family money, you know, like it's just, I've like built this all on my own. And I do feel like I'm living a dream, and I just feel like the more you can give back, I hate that this sounds so cheesy, but I think people that don't think like that, I'm very suspect. Like, I feel like you're like, I'm living this amazing dream. What can I do to give back, to bring positivity to someone's life?
Oh, yeah.
And so I think we're starting to try more charity stuff. Like my whole take is if you have a voice that you don't use, like it's worthless.
Yeah.
So we're not too political, but I think anything we can do to raise attention to stuff, especially women's issues, and give back to people in need. And I mean, respond to all the DMs people send us, which sounds so stupid, but like it makes people's day better.
Sure.
So I just think that's, if you think like that, you're a good person.
Yeah. I try to be a good person. And the more I'm honest with myself about who I am and what I do and like the way I operate, if I knew myself, I would be aggravated at myself for not thinking I'm a good person. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, who are you? You're so arrogant. Like, you're so fucking important. You can't just be a good person. You have to feel guilty about it. Mark Manson, who you guys had on your show, in his new book, Everything is Fucked, he talks about the moral gap. Did you read that book?
I didn't. Sorry.
No, it's okay. He's
Like,
not going to listen. It doesn't matter.
He definitely didn't listen to this episode, like our episode with him.
Yeah, he does so
like
much
retweeted
shit.
one thing. We're like, that's fine.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks,
Appreciate it, bro. The moral gap, especially where it's like if someone gives you $10, you feel like you need to do something nice for them. Mm-hmm. You need to, at the very least, you need to say thank you.
Yeah.
Saying thank you closes the moral gap because they've separated themselves as higher morally than you. But one thing people will do to close the moral gap is to feel guilt, because if there's no consequence, then there's no way to even that out. So I think that's why when I read that, I was like, that's why I feel guilt. But also, I, like you, I've been in some bad situations, and it really looked like my life was just not going to be good for a long time. So now that it is good, am I going to allow myself to enjoy it? I would like to say yes, but there's times where I do and there's times where I don't. But I think that that's healthy. And I wonder if you, and somebody who has had different levels of success and different platforms and different arenas, do you feel now more like you've earned it, or do you still feel like maybe it's a little bit of luck?
So I think about this stuff all the time, and just like how I'm not really like a religious person, but I think
praise Jesus. Yep, keep going.
But I think like religion is just karma. Like it's like you treat people how you want to be treated. You do something nice, that comes back to you. You do something terrible, it has to come back to you. You can't just like live this terrible life. You know, I think people live based on religion. I'm like, maybe you just live based on like trying to be a good person.
Yeah.
But I think I've earned this 100%. I think I've like put in the time. I think I've made a lot of like good career moves and taken risks and just like believed in myself. But, you know, I had parents that, you know, supported me in every way, you know, emotionally and like my career and my choices, and never judge me and never. So I feel lucky in that way. When I feel lucky, it feels that like I can't believe I was like born into this family. Like I feel like I'm not worthy of like my parents. They're the most amazing people. So
or at this time. Right?
Yeah. And I look at people's life, and I think you see a lot of people that have like really tragic things happen, and then they have these great lives. And to me, that feels a little more balanced. And sometimes I'm like, nothing terrible has happened to me. Like, when's it going to happen? You know? So that's why I just try to like do as much for other people as I can, I guess. Like try to spread the luck, I guess. I don't know. I don't like to use the word luck. I think I earned this, and I've made the right moves and worked really hard.
Well, things will happen. Things will happen that are tragic in your life. To
It
be
happens
honest,
to everybody.
it's not even a full life if there's no tragedy.
Absolutely. And that's not to say I haven't been through like hard times, but I have not compared to a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think your highs have outweighed your lows at this point?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I mean, I think so much of it comes down to family. Like that's what people now, like a lot of people will, obviously tell us their relationship problems, my friends and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I just immediately can diagnose it based on like their relationship with their parents or how they were brought up. Like it kind of always goes back to that.
Always.
So
Do you read a lot?
I used to read a lot more. My mom was a librarian, so my whole life I was like reading all the books. I sometimes not as much. I should read more.
Yeah.
When I'm reading a book I love, I'm like, this is so much better than any TV show I could watch. What am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
Like, just pick up that fucking book.
I know. It's hard though.
Do you?
I'm on a kick right now where I'm reading a lot, but that's because Ryan Holiday just came out with a new book.
Mm-hmm.
You know who that is?
I don't.
He wrote.
I almost lied.
Yeah. No, I don't. The Holiday? I love the holidays.
Do you? It's always a toss up if I'm going to lie. When someone's like, do you know?
Well, but you know why? And this is what I was just thinking about when you were talking about being born into the family that you're born into. I feel lucky that I was born in the time that I was born in. Because if I was born in the 50s, I'd be fucked. I'd be at work. I'd be like, when right? See a picture. It's a funny caption, right? Get back to work, Resh. Fucking idiot. Get out of here. Deliver the milk, moron. This guy's always cracking jokes. Well, there was no opportunity for people like us.
And you were born early enough to like, we're similar in age, but where we got to like live a life before social media.
Yeah.
I feel lucky every day.
100%.
I got through
Our souls chose
college
to be
or high
born
school.
at this time.
Like bullying wasn't the same. I feel so lucky.
Me too.
I had a
know.
normal childhood. We played outside.
And then the internet came and sucked us all indoors into the matrix. It really just, I was like 15 or 16 when AOL came out. AIM or Instant Messenger, whatever it was.
Dial up.
Oh, man.
Your parents would pick up the phone, not kick you off.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I was about to get nudes. No, I wasn't getting nudes at 15, 16. But I don't even know if you could send a picture over AIM at that time.
I don't think so.
It would have taken like 4
You
hours.
had an away message. That was it.
It would have taken like 4 hours.
And that's
to
how you would
download.
thirst trap was
Yeah.
on AIM.
Busy. Having fun with
Song
my
lyric.
friends.
Yeah.
She okay? She's got a stained lyric up there. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, I lived a full life, and I also lived a full life before the whole Instagram thing happened. Like I had a job, a wife, kids. Like I was ready to just do that forever, and I was totally fine with it. And then all of a sudden, I got swept up by the Instagram momentum, and I make my living off of memes. Like people ask me what I do for a living. I'm like, I work on the internet, okay? I don't even want to tell you that I make memes for a living because it sounds absurd. But there are so many different opportunities for people like you and me who are maybe like in the 80s. I always say, and my wife thinks this is like the funniest thing ever because I know what I look like, and I know that I'm not a like Hollywood actor. But like, if I was any less good looking, I would be fucked. Like,
You're right over the line.
I'm so right where I need to be as far as looks goes. I'm not like the most handsome guy, but I'm not like a cretin either. I have to use my personality. Let's just say.
I feel like that too. And we tell Rayna and I, my co-host, we tell our agent and our managers, like now we have a team of people. It's kind of crazy. It does feel like unreal, but we're like, we don't want a TV show. We don't need to be in HD. We're in our 30s. We're not. Like, I know what I look like. Like, I'm confident.
Yeah.
I love the way I look, but I realized at a young age I needed to be funny.
Yes, me
like
too.
First grade.
Because I was a fat kid.
I was just not attractive. Like, I wasn't fat. I was really tall and skinny. But I mean, you realize that most people, not all, most people that are really funny, and I'm not saying I'm so funny, but I do comedy. I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah.
Were not always attractive. There's no way. You had to
can't.
go through an awkward phase. You had to realize the value of being funny.
Yes, you have to. There's no way around it.
Like there was this, I remember this guy like in Atlanta that did comedy, and I'm like, he's just so cocky and he was so good looking. He was so bad at comedy. And I think he just thought he was so good. And I'm like, you've just been like the popular, good looking kid your whole life. You are not going to be funny. I hate to tell you.
You know what it's like? It's kind of like when a comedian gets really big and then they don't really have to be funny anymore and their material suffers because everywhere they go, everybody laughs at everything.
Yeah, and you have no idea. You have no way to know.
And that happened to Dane Cook. That's the first time I ever saw it happen to somebody like black and white. He had his Harmful If Swallowed, which was like the funniest CD or special I ever heard in my entire life. That was the first one where he had the black tank top on.
Well, we used to listen to the other one, like on a CD.
Vicious Circle?
Yes.
No.
Vicious Circle was the one I'm thinking of.
Vicious
with like
Circle.
the Kool-Aid Man and the like, I'm coming in. Like
no, that's Harmful If Swallowed.
Okay.
Oh, it's unreal. The when you get into the car accident.
Yeah,
you
I
just
still
stare
quote
at
it.
Yeah. Well, can you fix it right now with your eyes?
He was like the first person that was ever like, I just want to dance. Like that's not even funny anymore. But he was. I mean, we would just be on the beach listening to that, like on
so good,
like on a Discman.
But then he got so big and so like monumental that I remember by the time A Vicious Circle came out, I was like, he has no idea what's funny anymore. He can't. Because everywhere he goes, it's just like stadiums and loud waves or whatever. But also at the same time, this is something that I think about a lot because he's obviously still doing comedy. And from what I understand, he's back and better than ever in L.A. His parents both died within a year of each other. And his brother stole millions.
What, before comedy or like?
Before A Vicious Circle. In between Harmful If Swallowed, that double CD, and A Vicious Circle, like tragedy struck and he was just like
I can't
empty.
Even think about it.
Yeah. And his brother stole millions of dollars from him. Millions, all of his money.
How do you even? I mean,
he was his manager.
Yeah.
And then like eventually, you go to check your bank account and you're like, there's $40 in here. Where's all the?
God. Both of those things happening make me like I don't
They
think
both happen together.
I don't think I could come back from it. I don't know.
Both parents, you could, you would, and you will.
The only thing. This is a really morbid thought. I have a really morbid thought about my biggest thing I think about that keeps me up at night is something happening to my parents. Like it's just. Like I said, I feel like I'm not worthy of being born into this family. It's like the luckiest thing in my whole life. And I honestly just feel like if they're going to die, they got to go together. Because like the thought of one of them being without the other is the saddest part.
They're in love?
Oh, God. Yeah. 41 years. They're just I couldn't stomach the thought of them being without each other. So it's like my morbid thought of like, if they're going to go, I hope it is some like tragic car wreck or something.
God.
So we don't have to see them be lonely.
That would be poetic though, right?
Yeah, like The Notebook.
I never
die
saw
together.
I gotta see that movie.
Tank, what? You've never seen The Notebook.
I know, and I love Ryan Gosling.
You know what I feel like would be so funny if like
we watched it right now.
We watched it right now, and then you started making Notebook memes now, like in 2019. You just start like making memes.
Guys, gotta check this movie out.
Like the scene in the rain, which you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but like people.
I do from memes.
People like, how is Tank? It's a lot of Notebook content.
Yeah, he loves Ryan Gosling, I guess. I don't know. Must be on USA every week or something.
Back to the comedy thing. I don't know. I still love Amy Schumer's like what she's kind of done for women in comedy, but I do not know maybe my taste has changed, but I have not liked her recent specials, and I always wondered if that was it. Like, whatever. She got happy. She got a husband. She got pregnant. Like, she's like, fuck this.
Same thing happens with rappers. It's very hard to be creative when you're not miserable.
I totally agree.
It's very difficult, which is why I keep myself miserable with my anxiety and OCD and my intrusive thoughts. And last night I was like having some of these thoughts. My brain is like really messed up.
I know. And I was talking with Rayna about, I listened to a little bit of it, but I think she listened to most of you on Hannah's podcast, which was probably all about the mental health stuff.
Yeah.
So, and she was like, he has had an interesting time.
He is fucked up.
He is crazy. I can't believe we're letting him record with us in your apartment.
I thought I was going to kill my child.
Oh my God.
I was like, I'm not going to be able to stop myself. This is horrible. I cannot believe this is what's going to happen.
Wow.
It's a very scary feeling.
Are you medicated?
No.
You're not?
No. And then one time I looked up, because I like to know, you know what I mean? Like what's going to happen. I want to know what's going to happen. And I looked up, I found out it was something called intrusive thoughts, which is called harm OCD or pure OCD. And when I saw it was called pure OCD, I was like, oh my God, okay. That means it's called pure OCD because there's no external expression of the obsession. So it's not like I'm thinking about killing somebody, so I have to kill them. It's a fear. It's my brain thinking of the worst thing I could possibly think of.
Okay.
and just harping on that. And then everybody has those thoughts. Not everybody, but like I think 95% of people and 90% of people sometimes when they're driving will be like, I'll just drive into the car.
Yeah.
Just drive into a tree or something. I just have these crazy thoughts.
Right. Like, what if I just did this right now?
The difference is like, yeah, not what if. It's like, fuck, what if I can't not? That's where it goes. Or it went. It only happened like 2 times in my life.
Yeah.
But it was because I love my child so much. It was like, my brain was like, this is the worst thing that could possibly happen. And this is what you're going to think about right now.
There was I remember a guy, he ran over a girl that was running, like, purposely. Like, I think I know this because it happened in Delaware where I'm from. But
yeah.
And it was like he was in the military, had PTSD and a bunch of mental issues. He, like, did the thing.
But that is a psychotic episode.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, not intrusive thoughts.
Oh, totally
so I
different.
Googled, has anybody with intrusive thoughts ever murdered somebody?
Okay. Just so you would
and
know.
I almost didn't click the thing because I didn't want to know because it's just, in case it was like, yeah, one person with it in the 1800s who had intrusive.
You're like, I'll be the second.
I'll be the second. So I Googled it and it was like, no, nobody, literally not one person who has ever reported having intrusive thoughts has ever acted on them. The illness is it's self-contained, just like alcoholism.
Okay.
Is a self-contained illness. I'm not drinking. I wasn't drinking to get out of like the stressful situation with my boss or my wife or whatever. I was drinking to shut my brain up, which was telling me drink over and over again until I drank.
Right.
It was an internal condition.
Okay.
That only no external factor can fix or address.
Right.
That's why medication is like, would it help? I'm not to the point where I would need it. It was like it happened twice in my life, so I'm not to that point. But I'm open to whatever.
Yeah.
I started meditating, praying, reading.
I was just going to ask you, like, what is your like? I hate to say self-care, but what keeps you sane?
So I'm in 12-step
Okay.
recovery. So I'm there like 3 or 4 times a week.
Okay.
Make phone calls 4 or 5 times a week. Read every day. Pray every day. Meditate a few times a week. Eat right. Exercise. Be honest. Live honest with myself so that I don't have to lie.
Okay, I can't lie.
Because if a friend of mine said something about being honest and living honest, and people will act shitty and justify it by being honest about it. Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, you're not living honest though, because you're still doing stuff that makes you feel
totally
bad.
Agree. Like we have a dating podcast, and sometimes women will tell stories, and they'll tell us this terrible thing this guy did, and it was like he was honest. I'm like, don't give it. What, you're patting this guy in the back because he was honest and did a terrible thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, honesty is not always the best policy. Being a good person is always the best policy. You're trying,
right,
and being imperfect and willing to grow as a person, but. The other thing, my other tool, my biggest self-care tool is honesty. Because when I sit down and look at where I have been and where I am now, not just in life, but in my head, I know things are a lot better. I used to be so much worse. My OCD would come in the form of like insecurity in dating.
Oh, okay.
I would call a girl, she wouldn't pick up, call her again. Wouldn't pick up, call her again. Do that for like a half an hour straight.
And then you get blocked.
No, I don't even know if you couldn't even do that back then. This is like 2003.
This is on a landline? They changed their number.
You'd have to. No,
that's what you had to do back then, guys.
You know what's funny is that she'd pick up the phone eventually, and I'd be like, "Hey, what's up? What are you doing? I tried calling you."
Oh my God! Did you drink and do drugs?
No, this is sober.
Okay.
This is sober because I took away the drinking and the drugs.
Yeah.
And I didn't replace it with anything healthy. I was going to meetings. I had a handle on how to stay sober, but I was also very young. I was 22 when I got sober, which is like, life would have been hard if I was drinking or sober.
Right.
So it was just, life sucked better sober for me at that point. Because it would have sucked worse if I was drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Drinking, man. I mean, I'm not. It's just getting. I got to a point where I was like, the lows are so bad.
Yeah.
And just like physical health.
Yeah.
But even now, I'm like, I hate this. I don't get drunk a lot anymore. Like used to be a big drinker. I've had multiple DUIs. Like I've always been like a huge drinker, like binge drinker.
Yeah.
I never really feel like I had a problem. I wasn't ever self-medicating. I wasn't drinking alone. I was like social binge drinker. Mm-hmm. I can drive. I don't follow the rules. Kind of just a bratty kid.
Yeah.
But I'm just The lows are, for me personally, whatever's going on in my brain, it's bad. Like a day after a really bad hangover, I'm like in a deep, dark hole. And then I'm like, I'm never going to do this again. And then you do it again.
Of course.
What is wrong with me?
Because you forget.
Yeah.
People forget. That's the beauty and that's the gift and the curse of the human brain, is that as painful as something is, you will get over it.
Right.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, some things change your life. Some, like a loss of a child or a parent or something, that changes your life. You don't get over it per se, but you do get on with it. You get on with your life. You have to,
It's just that it's like that meme. It's like when you have a sniffly nose and you're like, all the times I didn't have a sniffly nose, I took for granted.
Yeah. I wish I was as fat as I used to think I was. That's why. So Ryan Holiday, the guy who you were about to lie about and say you knew, he has.
I gotta live an honest life.
Yeah, you got to be honest, live honest, all that. He wrote, "Ego is the enemy and the obstacle is the way." Their Stoic philosophy bridges to modern life.
Okay.
Like you take Stoic philosophy, Epictetus and Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, and then he applies it to modern problems. So his new book, Stillness is the Key, is it's just so fucking good. It's so applicable to life as a person living in this distraction-filled society where you literally never have to exist if you don't want to.
Right.
You can just always be doing something.
Yeah.
Even when you're sleeping, you wake up, look at your phone. I look at my phone in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Yeah.
You do that too?
Yeah, and actually, like, recently I'm like, this is a problem. Like, I feel like, what am I
This is not good.
doing till 3 a.m.? Like, nothing. There's nothing productive about this. Like,
You stay up till 3?
Well, I mean, I've always been a night person, but I'm trying to get better and wake up earlier. But why am I on Instagram? I'm not doing anything. Like, what am I doing?
Nothing.
Nothing. Why did I shut it down and open it again?
Because, oh my God.
It's almost, I compare it to, people might get upset that have food addiction. It feels like that. It feels like I know I don't need to like keep eating these chips or something like that, but like I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It feels very similar. So I don't know. I need to just buy like an alarm clock and not on my phone in my bedroom. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, well, I use it to wake up.
What are you, Ariana Huffington? Come on now.
Sleep evangelist.
Alarm clock. Well, it is the exact same pleasure center reward as the food addiction, but there's no physical manifestation except you being a little tired, maybe looking run down or whatever because you're up till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, there's just no point. Like, I like to live a productive life. So I'm like, this is not productive.
No.
So then I'm sleeping late. Like, what? This just is no point. It's a weird thing, but you still do it.
Do you live alone?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a dog.
Nighttime alone is tough.
Yeah.
It is.
And
Which could go either way. You might want to go to bed at 8 p.m. or stay up till 3.
Right. I'm getting better because they're doing construction. It wakes me up at 7 every day. So it's like this thing I'm trying to look at the positive. They're like, I wanted to make this life change anyway. So waking up to the jackhammer makes me want to die. But at least
That's a really jarring way to wake up.
It's real at 7:30. It's really jarring.
Oh my God.
A jackhammer? Oh my God.
There's nobody.
It's like, I guess I'll go to yoga.
Yeah, why not?
What else am I gonna do?
Not be here. There's nothing like waking up early is hard. But going to bed early is harder, I think.
Yeah.
Like, that takes more discipline than waking up early.
For sure.
Waking up early, like, you have to go to work. What are you going to do, not go to work?
Well, I don't.
No, I know, but, like...
That's the problem.
Especially, yeah, I guess.
I will set meetings and calls for, like, 10, just so I'm like, I gotta get up.
No structure.
I'll just sleep.
You need a little structure in your life.
Yeah. I'm getting there. The jackhammer helps.
Well, that's going to stop. Then you're going to be left with the same
I don't know. They're
problem.
building a fucking Trader Joe's downstairs. Might never stop.
Wait, they're building a Trader Joe's downstairs?
Like on my building.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know how good that is?
Yeah, but there's also one a couple blocks away. We don't need it.
Oh, well.
It's ruining my life. I should get a gift card or something.
You don't need, everything is so cheap there. You
I know.
don't
I
even
do
need a
like
gift
it.
Card.
But you don't live in Manhattan, right?
Long Island.
Do you have one near you?
Yeah, I have
I'm
two.
sure it's easy to shop in. Like Trader Joe's in Manhattan is a mess. It's
Is
like
it?
a nightmare. It's so many people. I once walked in and the line, and this is middle of the day, the line was like, they had people in the line like managing the line. Like it was a fucking music festival. It was crazy. I was like, what is going on here? I just walked in and walked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's too much.
So
Well, what time did you go?
this was in the middle of the day.
Lunchtime?
I mean, it was afternoon.
People might eat Trader Joe's lunch. They might go
Yeah.
to Trader Joe's to buy lunch.
I couldn't deal with it. In Union Square, I was like, I'm out.
Ooh.
For that reason, I'm out.
Yeah.
This one might be better, but it's ruining my life.
Well, it'll be close. So if you go downstairs and there's a big line, you come back upstairs. You go back down in 40 minutes. It's not like you have to walk a few blocks.
Like, can you hold my place in line? I go upstairs and just
everything
hang
is
out.
so convenient. It's so insane.
Yeah.
Do you use Instacart here? Shopping?
Like groceries?
Yeah.
I have not used that. I've used Fresh Direct.
Yeah.
Same thing.
It's going to get to the point where somebody pre-chews your food and it comes and spits it in your mouth.
Baby birds you.
It has to. Like, it's how lazy are we going to get?
Well, we are lazy and we're so spoiled because now we travel all the time. We do these shows in all these cities and like you can't get anything you want to eat at midnight in Minneapolis.
No,
you know what I mean?
I know.
Like it's not. We're really so spoiled.
Where was I where I realized that? I was somewhere. Maybe I was in Austin and it was like 11 o'clock. No, where was I? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But it wasn't in New York. And I looked and I was like, oh, fuck. I don't want chicken fingers from this diner.
That's what I did that in Atlanta. I used to live in Atlanta for a long time. And we had a show. I had something there recently. And it was, 11. And the only thing an option on like whatever Postmates was chicken fingers and fries. And you can't order fries.
No.
I don't know what I was thinking. It
No.
came, it showed up, I put it in the trash.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess I'm going to feel skinny tomorrow.
Yeah.
Skinny as a needle.
No chicken. However, if you ate the chicken fingers and fries, you'd feel plump as a tuft.
Do you know skinny as a needle?
No,
Obviously.
what is that?
That's a Britney thing. Do you follow Britney?
Britney
Spears.
No.
She's unraveling.
Is she? Oh, I got to look
And I
that.
feel like you should know about.
I'm going to check that out. Skinny as a needle. Injector. So the touring, I'm fascinated with.
Okay.
I am absolutely fascinated by the fact that, okay, so your trajectory looks like blog, bros being basic, girls got to eat,
Yeah.
world domination.
That's the plan.
It's what's happening.
Right.
So you're touring and you're doing theaters, right? Mm-hmm. How many seats are in the theaters?
The most we've done is like 1,200.
Because if I tried to go on the road, like 12 people would show up.
You don't know that. You have huge
I
following.
do know that. They're followers, not fans.
Okay.
Which
You're
is-
right. There's a difference.
There's definitely a difference, which is why I started the podcast and I started a couple of other things, because everything I do now is to, like, the Instagram is not really growing as much anymore, is to farm the followers that are already there for fans that will come see me.
Want to see you.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing when I had Bros Being Basic, like nobody cared about me.
I know.
Like I was like, oh, they don't care. Like I'd try to go on the stories or I'd try to be like, hey, I'm here. What's up?
Shut up.
Promote my comedy. And they're like, this isn't even a dude. You know, like they're pissed. But
Oh, they're livid.
yeah, they're like,
Something.
what is this bitch doing? But no, it was fine. But it didn't work. It didn't translate.
It doesn't translate. It's a different language. It's a different platform, and that's why I'm just so I'm infatuated by people who are able to do 2 or 3 different platforms.
Yeah, I mean, and in all honesty, Bros Being Basic, it's it's still alive, and I still manage it. But I don't post as much. It's kind of, it's not my main thing anymore.
Yeah.
But this podcast, yeah, it's really kind of taken over our lives. I mean, in the best way. But
Yeah.
we try to give people a different experience, so our live shows are not like live podcasts. Like we record them just to have. We don't release them as episodes. They're like a full-blown comedy experience. We do audience participation. When we have theater shows, we'll open with like dancers. We've had male strippers. We've had hip-hop dance teams. Like we kind of open with this really high energy performance, and then we come out and we just like make it really lit. It's like a really great girls' night out.
How long is the show?
About an hour 45, hour
Yeah.
and a half. Yeah. So, but that was always, we started when we like had guests. We were like, nobody cares about these guests. They
Yeah.
just want to see us.
Yeah,
they just
they're
want to
there to see you.
laugh.
Yeah.
Like we would try to do like a serious topic. We were like, this is so stupid. Like listen to the podcast. Like we just want to make people laugh, talk, bring people up on stage, get crazy, have people leave and just be like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Like that's the whole plan.
And who's the mastermind behind that? Do you guys have somebody helping you, or is it you and Rayna?
No, I mean, I've have experience with like
Oh, the
with some event
events.
planning
That's
stuff, and
right.
obviously performing and being a stand up. So, I mean, we have an equal effort, but a lot that stuff is me. Like the stuff that's a little more different with the dancers and stuff. I book all that entertainment and stuff like that. But we've
Wow.
created the show together. Like it's really 50-50 in terms of like how we're gonna do what we're gonna do and keep
How did
people
you
entertained.
two meet?
We met on on an influencer trip, like a press trip in Aruba. I can't. This story is so pretentious. But we met in Aruba, and obviously realized we were both from New York, and we had this press trip. And these trips, I don't know if people know. I mean, it was through the Marriott. It was like the Aruba Marriott. They have like 5 people, 5 writers, influencer people. You're there for free to write about and cover the hotel. They set up activities for you and stuff like that. So we met. We hung out 3-4 days. And I just really liked her. I'd wanted to do a podcast already. I knew I wanted to be about dating and relationships, and I just wanted to do it with a woman. And I pictured it as like the rest of my life, or at least the next big thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got to find somebody that I like want to be around a lot. And I respect their vision, and they work hard. And
Sorry, my eyes are bothering me.
Are you
I don't
okay?
know if you
Do you
could
take
tell.
a break? I was like, are you so bored?
I don't know if you could tell. My eyes are bothering me. Hey, where are you? Don't say something so I can geolocate you.
Are you so high right now?
No, my eyes are. Sometimes I get allergies, and my eyes just shut down.
Do our contacts?
No.
Lucky you.
I wish I had contacts so I could rip my eyeballs out right now. I'm holding this microphone like an influencer holds a cup of coffee.
Little hands.
I put my sweater over the bottom of my palm and hold the coffee. Oh, so good.
Cozy season.
Yeah, the whole touring thing is like to be able to go to a city, sell tickets, have people come see you, and give them all you can give them is like that's the dream. That's like the dream.
Yeah,
I think
it's a dream. I mean, it's just like we take it so seriously because we don't want to disappoint people. They paid money to come see us. Like we don't want it to end. Like we don't want it to be like that sucked. And so we kind of. We're going back and doing shows in Chicago in December, and they sold out right away, these 2 theater shows. And I'm just so happy because I feel like we'd done 2 shows there before that I didn't think were our best. So I was like, thanks for coming back. Well, we've had to figure this out as we go along.
Sure.
That's not to say that it wasn't good to start, but like, we've tweaked it. We've made it what it needs to be. And so some of those people that came in the early days, I'm like, thank you for coming back.
Thank you so much for giving us
like
a
weird
second.
guests. We're like, you don't know these people,
Yeah, they're not there for guests. The guests are cool. You know what I mean? Like it's nice to have a guest, especially if the guest is really good.
Yeah.
But the people are. That's something that I'm realizing with this is that the guests are very important, but my followers hearing you, I'm doing them a favor by bringing you in here. Mm-hmm. By like asking you the questions I want to ask you, like they're benefiting from my curiosity in you, but they're coming because I told them about it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but there is a little bit of pressure on me to get good guests, especially people that I'm interested in, and anybody who has plugged along on the internet for a number of years, I have respect for and curiosity about, and I want to know, like, not only how did you do it, because I know kind of how you did it. You just didn't give up. You just didn't stop. But, like, what is your life like now? Like, I'm always interested in people who are, because there's so many, going back to what I was saying before, if this was the 80s, I'd be fucked because I'm, like, not hot enough, but I'm, like, not funny enough not ugly enough to be so funny. There's so many more opportunities for middle of the road people like me, talent-wise.
Middle of the road. So humble.
Talent-wise, who, like, could go either way. Marginally talented, but you have exposure. You know what I mean? And my talent is just that I will not stop until I die.
Yeah.
That's my talent.
And just to clarify, I meant guests on our live shows. I don't mean people don't want to hear guests on our podcast. I just wanted to clarify that. Random guests that they haven't heard before. Because people love our guests that we have on, and then they follow them and they go to their shows and stuff like that. I wanted to clarify. I also think it's just like people are scared to take risks.
Yeah.
Like when I left my 9-to-5 job in PR, I didn't have any money. I was just like so broke, but I was like, all I want to do is work for myself. I can't live this life. I can't
When
have
was
to
that?
be at an office. This was in 2010.
Really?
Yeah. But
that's when you quit your job?
I'd worked at my first job out of college. I worked at this magazine, and then I was doing other stuff, but I always knew, I was like, I cannot work for somebody and have like an office job and have to like put in a request if I want to take a vacation. I can't live like this. My dad's the same way. Just like I had this entrepreneurial spirit, I guess, for lack of a less douchey word, to like not live that life. I just knew it wasn't for me. I would always like have clashes with bosses, and my whole life, like authority figures. I was like, I just can't live like this. I've got to be on my own.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to go on my own as a freelance writer. And that's what I did for the next couple of years. I was editor of this really popular website that has since shut down called Daily Candy and all of that. And then I saw a need for a beauty fashion blog that was funny. And that's how I started the blog. Like, I just think people need to think outside the box, not give up, and like actually do what's authentic to them. Because people are like, how can I start an account like yours? And like,
You can't.
You can't. And is that interesting to you? Like, do you feel passionate about it? What, like, people know, I think deep down, and this is a Mark Manson thing too, what Fuck Finding Your Passion is one of his old blogs.
Yeah.
Like, you know what you're into. Just stop comparing and trying to do what someone else is doing. It's never going to work.
Yeah. That's a great point.
I mean, it's not.
Even today, I need to hear that.
Yeah. And that's obviously what set you aside. I mean, there's a million meme accounts that are just reposting all the same shit.
Yeah.
And I think you and me specifically, because now Bros Being Basic is a meme account, it didn't start like that. Like, I want to create something that no one else has seen. I take it seriously, and people think that's funny.
You're about to watch me rip my eyeball out.
Tank, what's happening? It's not allergy season.
It's always allergy season.
Like,
in
you
my life.
do not see. You have eye drops?
I might. Just keep going. And it lasts for like 10 minutes. How long have I been ripping my eyeballs out for? I'm sure people love listening to this. And now there's about to be one big tear, like I'm an astronaut in space.
Just cry it out.
Welling up on my eye. Oh my God. Mike Vecchione, you want to come say hello? No? I mean, if you're gonna do it, do it. Don't be slow about it. What are you doing? I don't even know if they're gonna be able to hear you. You're gonna have to talk in there, buddy. I
thought that this the other one was on.
I doubt it.
Can I apologize to your fans?
Oh fuck, that's right. Yeah, you
had
can.
a really. I think I'm not apologizing for anything I did. I think I was acting out on your podcast, being sarcastic, and your fans. Some of their fans took me seriously.
So few, dude.
So seriously. But I read some of the comments. I was like, this is not a good representation of who I am. So let me.
Tank's crying now.
Yeah,
emotional.
I'm sorry to step on your. I'm sorry. I'm Mike.
Hi, Ashley.
Ashley, nice to meet you.
Hasseltine.
But I'm a really. And Tank could vouch for this. I'm a nice person.
Very nice person.
I know your girlfriend, I think.
Do you?
Are you guys still together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know her.
Mike is a
Okay.
professional
So I'm assuming
comedian.
you're, like, decent
I'm a
guy.
decent person,
Yeah.
but the way the fans were coming at me were like, I think that they didn't understand that I was being sarcastic because it kind of morphed into a thing where we were talking about.
Be honest, probably.
We were talking about career stuff. Like Tank was being serious, and I started off sarcastic.
It was probably my fault, and I'll tell you why. Because the clip that I picked started off with you very sarcastic and ended sincere. It should have been the other way around. Because people saw the sarcasm, they were like, "Fuck this guy." They watched a minute of it, they commented,
that's what it was.
and then
I don't know you.
and then they were gone. Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, Think Tank
I'm
listeners,
sorry.
this is Mike Vecchione. He was on episode I don't know, maybe 27 or so of the podcast. He went
guys
on
take it down?
We took it down. Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
take it
iTunes took it down. They were like, "We cannot have this on our platform." Steve Jobs from the grave was like, ripped it out of the archive. Yeah, it sucks.
So I just wanted to make that acknowledgement for your fans.
Well, you know what, Mike? I know you're a good guy, a
Right.
great guy, actually.
Thank you.
Very funny,
Thank
respectful.
you for saying
I said I didn't know for sure. You
Right.
seem like you could be decent based on who you date.
that. But
That's
you
all I
should.
said.
But you shouldn't go all in. You don't know who I am.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's great to be cautious in this climate
For sure.
that we're in.
Yeah, we get all the seasons here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys just having a heart-to-heart? Am I stepping on it? 'Cause
No,
I feel like I'm doing what I did before again.
Yeah,
you
you're
know
gonna
what I mean?
have
I'm
to
just
come
like
back in a few
stepping on
weeks
your.
and apologize.
I guess I've taken the.
No, you know why? Because every
microphone.
time I'm in the studio, you guys invite me in, so I wanted to invite you in.
It's
Because
because he
thank
saw
you.
a woman and he was like, I can talk over her.
That's exactly. That's
my
exactly
God.
the impression that we're going to give the fans.
Shannon, hit
I
the
want-
mic,
I wanna be-
Vecchione.
I want to be clear that I think that women are people, and they
Think they are, or you know
I,
they
I
are?
think that they're people,
I know
and
they
I
are.
think that they're
I'm woke.
conscious and capable, and not just sexually, or with recipes,
people aren't
but
gonna get it.
capable.
Yeah.
And I think that. Now, I asked one of your producers for water, and they didn't bring it. So
Yeah.
was
I
it
have
was it
some,
a,
but
was
I
it
don't
a,
know.
was it a woman?
Was it a woman?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was actually a man.
Probably with very
Probably a straight-
feminine energy.
I don't know. I don't know, but it's getting it's getting a little.
Well, thanks for coming in.
I
from
have
the
to go
50s, man.
hydrate.
Yeah, go hydrate that skin. You
But,
look great without a mustache.
Thank you very
Let me tell
much.
You look good with a mustache too.
Thank you.
But
Well, thank you. That was a good save.
yeah,
over yet?
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys go back to your conversation. I don't
Thanks.
want to, and I don't want to interrupt anymore.
too late.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Mike
Hey, other
Vecchione.
Mike. Can he come say hi?
Sure.
Come in.
What's happening? Are you guys live?
But now we have a better mic. Two of them. What is going on?
Wow.
It's almost like there's too many white mics in comedy.
I don't know if that mic is on. You got to talk there. Talk there.
This mic is on. You can use mine.
It's
See,
okay, I have to record my
Okay.
podcast because we're doing real good.
Yeah, Irish Goodbye.
guys.
I have a-
Anyway,
Thank you so much for mentioning it.
Irish Goodbye podcast. I have a guy coming on Wednesday named Ryan Holiday who looks exactly like this guy.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to show
Come
you a
on
picture
in.
before I go.
guys, also, Girls Gotta Eat, an episode called Young Love. It's with Mike Feeney and Mike Cannon, who are standing here right now. It's one of my personal favorites.
Really?
If people are like, what episode should I start with? I recommend it.
Really?
Mike Cannon tells the funniest story I've ever heard in my whole life.
I'm going to listen to it on the way home tonight.
It's laugh out loud funny. I fell off the couch. Sorry, I shouldn't hype it this hard. People are gonna be like, that story's stupid.
This fills my heart.
That happened with Between Two Ferns. Somebody told me to watch the end of Between Two Ferns. And my favorite thing on Netflix right now is I Think You Should Leave. And everything I get recommended, I compare it to that. I'm like, is it I Think You Should Leave? He's like, it's good. It's not, I don't know, whatever. Just watch it. And I watched it. I was like,
Is Between Two Ferns good?
what's the joke?
I think we should leave.
All right, bye guys. I miss you guys already. Bye.
Have you seen I Think You Should Leave on Netflix?
No.
It's the greatest fucking show.
Is this a
I've
new?
ever seen.
Is it new?
Relatively new within the last few months, maybe 3-4 months.
Okay.
It's guy Tim Robinson from Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
Who was too bizarre for Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
But not bizarre enough for like the Tim and Eric show or whatever, like
Yeah.
kind of in between. And he straddles it perfectly. He is so funny and so he just takes these really simple premises and he just annihilates them. Rips them. Like there's the one in the boardroom where his coworkers sit him on they put a whoopee cushion on his seat and he just cannot understand, like he's never seen one before.
Oh, okay.
And he's confused as to like he sits down and he goes and he goes, oh my god, I think I just farted. I need to take a walk and figure out what's going on. Like, go figure out what's going on with his butthole. Like, he's never just sat down and farted. He's never seen one. And then he just cannot understand what the joke is. Like, what's the joke?
It's that kind of feels like Curb a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But funnier.
Yeah.
Yeah, his face is, oh, man, he's so
It sounds
funny.
good. Have you watched Between Two Ferns?
Oh, yeah, I watched the movie. And the last few minutes with the,
that's right, I
you know,
remember
the outtakes or whatever, my partner Adam goes, it's like everything you've been waiting for this entire time. It's like the release of like all that tension in
Yeah.
the studio. You see the outtakes, and the outtakes, some of them were pretty funny, but like that's not I Think You Should Leave level.
Okay.
Wait, so what did you want to talk about with masculine men with feminine energy?
Well, my whole life now is surrounded about dating and relationships, so I just think about this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So I have masculine energy, obviously, and it's kind of funny because you like look back on the guys you dated, and not you, women, and you're like, yeah, they had feminine energy. It's a real thing. It's like a
definitely.
match, and it can flow back and forth and stuff like that. Do you think about this kind of stuff?
100%.
Okay.
I have a book coming out
Oh,
about
my
dating
God.
called Go to Bed Angry.
Okay.
So more about marriage.
That took me a second. Well, you're about to come to our podcast, so maybe we'll talk about that.
Yeah. All the advice that's given out is just so stupid. Nobody really knows what they're doing. Everyone is literally winging it every single day of their life. The best you can do is find somebody who's also winging it in the same direction you are, and hope that like your paths don't divert too far. Because if they divert too far, then you grow apart and then things don't work out. But that's it.
If you can grow together. Well, and just
Can't do better than
people
that.
they take themselves so seriously, like dating experts and stuff. I mean, therapists are a different thing, but we just tell people what our experience, what we
That's-
think
yeah.
about it, and that's it.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
all you can do.
And hopefully you can relate. And
If you're honest, they'll relate.
yeah,
That's one thing that I found is that the problem with people being divided in this country is that they're not divided, they're just dishonest. And they're not even dishonest with other people. They're dishonest with themselves. They'll see something and go, "Oh, I don't feel that way." It's like, you definitely feel that way.
Yeah.
Because it occurred to you to say that you don't feel that way. If you didn't feel that way, you wouldn't have reacted like that.
And people are stupid too, also, intelligence-wise. But also I feel like they don't want to admit they were wrong. I feel like people that I know that there's people that, for example, like voted for Trump and are think he's a monster, but they won't admit they're wrong.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy thing. People that never admit they're wrong and never say sorry, I can't be around it.
No.
We have like one estranged family member in my perfect family that's like this uncle that like cannot admit fault, never has in his entire life. It's a crazy thing.
No accountability.
None.
Responsibility.
Everything else is someone else's fault.
You will get so much.
You can never date somebody like that either.
No, you get so much more equity with me if you're honest. Even if you're like a worse person than somebody who might be a little bit of a better person but is dishonest about who they are and not willing to own their mistakes.
Crazy.
I'd rather deal with a worse person who's like trying.
Yeah. Same.
Trying to grow, because that on the short term, this person is obviously better to be around, but on the long term, this person is going to become more developed and be better. Probably not too far down the line because they're aware.
Yeah, self-aware for
trying.
sure.
Do you have any tours coming up? Because we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
But then we're going to go to your house and we're going to do the Girls Gotta Eat.
I'm so excited. Go to bed angry.
Go to bed angry.
Call the episode that. Yeah, I mean, we are. When is this going to come out?
Do you have any books or anything?
We don't have a book. I don't know. I guess we could do a book. We're busy.
Busy.
Yeah.
Busy.
I would like to write a book. I've been writing my whole life. I would like to write a book just my own, like a collection of essays kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have one chapter. It's the first time I did stand up. It was first grade. I bombed. That's show and tell.
Devastating.
Well, I crushed it one week, and next week I went in with a totally different vibe and bombed.
Yeah.
You know what it feels like to bomb as a 6-year-old?
Oh my God. You shouldn't know what that feels like at 6. Everything should just be fun.
But we have tickets left. I don't know when this comes out.
This is going to be out in a few weeks, so it's
okay.
This will be out probably before Halloween.
Okay. Maybe if we have a lot of our shows are sold out, humble brag, but still tickets in Charleston, New Orleans. And that's it. We have a lot of shows, but they're like, and we have a show here in New York that should still have tickets left. We're doing 2 holiday shows here at Town Hall.
Where? I mean, where do they go to get the tickets?
girlsgottaeatpodcast.com, or I prefer this link, and I can tell the story if you'd like to hear it quickly.
Sure.
stupidliveshows.com.
Great.
So, and back to you read your reviews because you're still able to, because like people aren't mean to you yet. Maybe they are.
No.
Ours just got too out of control. Like when, I think with any podcast, because I read reviews on others, like when you hit a certain point of popularity or whatever, people just are mean. They're just,
of course,
they want to hate and say mean things. So I can't look. It's just not, I mean, there's no reason for me to look. It's just not good for me mentally. But when I was still reading them from time to time, someone wrote like, I'm done with this podcast, like blah, blah, blah. All these girls do is talk about their stupid live shows. And we're like, because that's our life and we're proud, you know?
Yeah.
But I just took that and ran with it. So that's what our shows are literally
So
called.
good.
Like we were like, thanks for branding the stupid live shows.
And that's what they're called?
We call them that now.
Oh my God.
We make posters, the link, stupid live shows. That's where you go to get the tickets. Like this person, I'm just like, fuck you. And thank you.
So go to stupidliveshows.com. Forget the Girls Gotta Eat podcast.com. Stupidliveshows.com. That's great. I can't wait till I can do that.
It's just, you got like,
Own somebody.
I do
like
a lot of
that.
stand-up bits now, like of surrounding the mean stuff people say to me and about me on the internet, because I'm like, I have to do this. Anything, breakups, whatever. My ex got engaged. It was a little hard on me. Like I've got to take these things and make them cathartic with comedy. It's like such a blessing to be able to do it.
Yeah,
you too.
Definitely is. So Girls Gotta Eat podcast on iTunes, Spotify, everywhere.
Yeah,
right.
iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen.
And then Ash Hess on Instagram.
That's me.
ASHHESS. I know. I got it. And then One Hungry Jew.
Mm-hmm.
And then
she
Girls
might be
Gotta
changing
Eat.
her handle.
Oh,
She's
really?
gotta go to Instagram.
She's got a what?
She's going to go to Instagram and talk to them. It's
hello. I'd like to speak to somebody about my Instagram name. They don't give a shit. This is not how that works. They don't give a shit.
She has someone it's hard to change your name. Like when they won't let, if you're like verified and you have a lot of followers, you couldn't change yours just all willy nilly.
No, you couldn't.
You'd have to go.
I mean, you can. I remember Ireland Baldwin used to change her name like every week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she probably can. But the problem is if she wants to change it to something that's like difficult to get, or she has to somehow change simultaneously. So she has to create another account and call that One Hungry Jew so that she can save it just in case she wants to get it back, and then name the other one, whatever she wants to name it.
Ugh, what a mess.
I don't know.
Knock,
Yeah.
knock. Buzz, buzz. Instagram, it's me.
Yeah.
Here to change my handle.
Well, for now, One Hungry Jew. But Girls Gotta Eat podcast is where people should go. I'm so happy for you. I'm
Thank
glad
you.
to
Thanks for having me.
to be able to watch your determination and grit end in a win.
Thank you. Same.
Yeah.
Can't wait to read your book.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.